Okay, Councilmember Richard.
Again, thank you, Mr. McDaniel, for taking your time to come out this morning. But I do want to iterate that myself and City Manager and Dr. Rowe in District 4, I have been very, very active to work and find problems that I have seen. I go through my district 3 times a week. I drive through. I use up my allowance, my gas allowance. You can trust me. And what I do, I put it on sometimes on Facebook. And the City Manager has been very, very responsive. Also, Dr. Rowe has helped me get a lot of these trash picked up, grass cut, cleaned. In fact, just recently, there was some trash that was left out in an apartment complex off of 73. It's not in my district. But being a concerned city councilman, immediately I responded to that and got it cleaned up and picked up, because this city really has that problem with contractors or whomever are throwing trash out in vacant lots and yards, and we really need to pay attention to that and get it cleaned up. As far as the streets are concerned, that's something that all city councils and citizens are concerned with, and we're working on trying to get those things fixed, those streets specifically. It's terrible. So we're working on that. We can assure you that the city council are getting together to try to remedy those problems. Thank you, sir.
In response to you,
Anthony, the mic, please.
okay. One question. Did you notice that that off on the side of Bluebonnet, as a matter of fact, that one, the grass is as tall as me? I don't think that's something that volunteers should be doing.
Well, right.
Okay, and if you will notice, all of the areas that I've shown you are all south of 73. Okay, so that's just relating back to equitability within the city. I mean, we need to give more focus where focus is needed. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree, sir. Definitely agree.
Councilmember Lewis.
Morning, Anthony. Appreciate your presentation. You've always been conscientious and concerned about your community. I appreciate that. You mentioned some things, Bluebonnet, that we had some special issues with Bluebonnet. South, we used up all of the GLO money, and we're in the process of appropriating some more monies, and we're getting some help from EDC. They are also kicking in some of the sales tax money. 19th Street, that old water treating plant, that is coming down. They're going to take it out along with some other properties in the down, big commercial building. That's going to be. Now, Bluebonnet, I'm recommending to the manager and Dr. Not Dr. Rowe, but Dr. Johnson. I mentioned to them about the possibility it's going to be a while, because we got some special problem with Bluebonnet. We need to take out that old base and reconstruct the base. We went over on the south end, we did not do that, and it's created a lot of problems, not the contractors' fault, it just created problems, and the base started shifting. So we're gonna reconstruct that base on the north of Gulfway Drive, from Gulfway Drive to, but I'm recommending that, I don't know how long it's gonna take, that we need to reroute the traffic. Close it at put a temporary barricade up there at Gulfway and 16th Street, and put a temporary barricade, just reroute the traffic, because before you realize it, it happens to me. I'll be done turned in there, and next thing I know, I got to get off of that old street, bouncing my front end around, okay? So hopefully the manager will do that and temporarily close until we get the resources to take care of what we need to take care of. And once we do that and reconstruct that base, it's going to last a long time. Let me give you an example of not completely reconstructing the base. South of Bluebonnet, I counted over 80 cracks. The contractor took it upon themselves to go back in there and not charge the taxpayer. Go back in there and seal all those cracks. From Gillum Circuit to Gulfway Drive is over 80 cracks. And that's that old base shifting. Should have been taken out. Why it wasn't taken out? We didn't have enough resources. We didn't have enough money. So we had to let the contractor and them go ahead with the resources that we had. And now we're paying for it. But we're not going to do that from Gulfway to Memorial. We're going to fix it right. Okay? Appreciate your presentation.
Councilman Scott.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. McDaniel, glad to see you back here again. We've had several conversations about the same thing that you're discussing today. Believe me that streets and cleanup has been the main priority of this council, as I've been on, trying to get it done, finding money, but for the streets, finding money for streets. But the cleanup that you're talking about, we definitely need to get a hand on that. I think that the city we can do a better job. And I wrote down some of the areas you're talking about so we can focus on those particular areas. But I do think that we as council members need to get together. I think we got something set up, city manager, to view the facilities and take a ride around the city. So we have scheduled that to do that. So a lot of these areas that needs to be looked at and taken care of, I think that we as a full city council viewing the city, we will be able to see those things and get on top of a lot of those things, basically the cleanup that you're talking about. And it's a necessity for that. So I appreciate you being here, but believe me, we're not driving on any other streets. We're driving on the same streets you're driving on. Okay, and I have a problem with streets myself. I feel the same way. And the thing about it is, we don't have too many meetings. We don't have that many meetings, Mr. McDaniel. I have more meetings with citizens than meetings with the council. So, but I really appreciate you being here, and I definitely feel that we definitely need to focus on cleaning up this city, and by doing that as a whole, and recognize when citizens like you come to up here and explain and show us these areas, we need to get on top of it. So again, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Mr. McDaniel. We will go to presentations. An update from Arsenault, Wilson and Cole regarding city projects with General Land Office, Texas General Land Office. Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor and
Good
City
morning.
Council. Several weeks ago, City Manager and Dr. Johnson asked that we kind of update council on all the Texas General Land Office funded projects that we've been working on. And it kind of occurred to us that we started these projects back in 2011, and many of the people, and a lot of the staff and a lot of the City Council might not be aware of some of these projects. So I was going to real quickly kind of run through round 1, 2.1, then 2.2, which has Bluebonnet Road that's been discussed. And if you have any questions, please stop me at any time, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. And got a little presentation here. We have kind of an overview of the city map showing the distribution of some of the projects we've done since 2011. Some of them are still under construction, and some are still slated to be constructed. They haven't gone into construction yet. Round 1 was administered through the TDRA, and before it became the GLO. These are not all the projects that the city did. This is only the projects we were involved with. And there were a total of 9 projects, about $4.3 million. A lot of them pertain to the backup generators for lift stations. And I think this particular project had 4 in it, and they're distributed all throughout the city. And this was done primarily after the hurricanes. There were no power. Now it's mandated that all we have either a temporary generator hookup or a permanent generator at the sites. Now these are some more generators, the old North Plant lift station.
Joe, pick up the mic, please.
I'm sorry. I thought, that better?
Yeah, you can pick it up if it helps.
It's not quite tall enough, is it? This is the North Plant lift station. I'm sorry, Adam. Can you go back one, please? And 46th Street lift station. New generators there as well. And we get downtown, and we have the main wastewater treatment plant. We actually installed 3 generators under that project, 2 at the wastewater treatment plant and 1 at the main outfall lift station. These are massive generators. They'll run the entire facility, along with a new automatic transfer switch, which will switch the power over automatically. And we had a couple of road projects. We had Proctor Street was built as a drainage project, and we came in and redid the drainage as subsequently resurfaced the road. We had this is Rosedale, which is actually done by city forces. We did the engineering design, and the city staff rebuilt it. I don't have a dollar amount on that one. I don't know what was spent on that. Next one we're looking at here is another generator project that we have done. And we move down to, I'm trying to see where we're at here, Adam. Can't see. Oh, this is the Lake Charles lift station with a generator there. We did we abandoned the old sewer plant on Pleasure Island and did a diversion lift station and pumps everything over back to the city. And that was that lift station. And right here we have the Kansas Street project. Reverend Scott. It used to be known as, when we started, it was Kansas. And we did a drainage project there and updated the drainage facilities in that road as well. And that, I believe, is everything on round one, isn't it, Adam? We got one more? Two more? We have, this is the main generator at the water treatment plant. We put that in prior to the upgrade of the water plant, but that generator is large enough to run that entire plant in the lieu of we lose power. And we have Mob Ditch in Port Acres. We actually widened that ditch to help with the stormwater runoff and about double the capacity of the ditch there. Next round was round 2.1. It was a total of 8 projects and roughly about $12 million. This is the new centrifuge at the Port Acres wastewater treatment plant that we've installed. And then we have 10th Street project, which was a drainage and road reconstruction project. And right adjacent to it, 9th Street, and it turned a little bit down Duff Avenue as well. And we have 14th Street, which is a road reconstruction and drainage. And 5th Street, which was the same type project. It was the drainage was redone at the intersections and the roadway resurfaced. And then we move on to I believe what's the next one here? This is 18th Street, which is currently still under construction, and it runs the weather. We're behind schedule on that due to the weather right now, but they're working on it now, trying to get some paving done. Also on this project, we reconstructed the GST, or Gulf storage tanks on Highway 87. And actually, there was one tank there to start. We tore down the old tank, built 2 new tanks and a new pump station. This is partially funded by Cheniere. They contributed a little bit of money to this project as well. And we also rebuilt the first stage of the water line from there to Sabine Pass. And by upsizing that line, Cheniere contributed some money to pay for the upgrade in the size of the line to meet their capacities that we're pumping now. Now we're in round 2.2 of the GLO, and this is the final round. And this is CPA. This is the standpipe in Port Acres. It's currently, right now, they're filling the tank right now and testing. And we're still a little bit before it goes in service, but hopefully within the next couple of weeks it'll be online and helping with some of the water pressures. We have West 7th and 8th, and I'm going to come back to those. But they're right now in design phase right now. And they're going to tie back to Bluebonnet, and we'll come back to those in just a moment. We have 19th Street, which was completed, and I believe it went from Savannah all the way down to Bluebonnet, was that road reconstruction. Did not include the street that was damaged in front of the old water plant. That was done in order to install some water lines. And we have... where are we at, Adam? Woodworth. Woodworth is scheduled. We've already bid this project. It came in over bid, and it'll tie back to 7th and 8th as well. So we haven't awarded that contract, but it's the reconstruction of all the intersections from Thomas down to 7th Street. Not a complete redo of the road, just rebuild the intersections and try to improve the drainage at those intersections.
You said the intersections on Thomas?
From Thomas down to 7th Street.
Don't they run parallel to one another? It's probably just me, because Thomas and 7th Street run parallel.
Well, isn't it West Thomas? Yeah. Am I right?
Well, you said the intersections. Oh, so each intersection on...
Well, it's from Thomas Boulevard
James
down to 7th Street.
Oh, down to 7th Street. Okay.
down Woodward. Pardon me? No. 7th and Woodworth, and then 8th, and all the way up to
Okay.
West Thomas.
All right.
And so I might have not said that right. It was going in my head, it didn't come out right. We're going to have to rebid that job, and it came in over our budget right now, and then I'll discuss that. And we have the old water plant at 19th Street, and actually we had the pre-bid this week, actually Thursday, for the demolition of that plant, that old facility. And I think it bids before the end of the month. And we have Bluebonnet, and we're calling this Bluebonnet Phase 1, and it runs from Gillum Circle to Gulfway. And we're proposing Phase 2, which will be from Gulfway back to Memorial. The issue we have with this is of course funding. We got started on Bluebonnet, and there was far more damage under that road than anybody envisioned. The road was initially planned to be, we were going to mill off the asphalt, replace the drainage that needed to be replaced, piping and inlets and everything, then come back and resurface it with asphalt overlay. We got down at the lower end near Gillum Circle, and that is an old concrete base, and that road had been there who knows how long. Didn't have any reinforcement steel in it, so it probably dates back to the 40s at some time.
I think Councilmember Scott wants to ask you a question.
Yes. Joe, what caused that crack down the middle of Bluebonnet starting from Gulfway Drive on back to Gillum Circus?
Those cracks telegraphed through because we didn't take the concrete up, the old concrete. We repaired it every place we crossed the road and repaired as much of it as we could with the money we had. But those are existing construction joints in the concrete below, and they're going to telegraph back up through the asphalt. Okay. And all those cracks out there in the asphalt that have been sealed.
So we're going to correct that or what?
There's not much you can do to correct it other than just tear it all
Tear it
out
off.
and reconstruct it.
All right.
I mean, it's just, we milled off in some spots out there over 7 inches of asphalt off that road. And the base was just terrible. And it was by far worse than anybody ever thought that it would be. And we repaired everything. And it's hard to tell you what kind of life you'll get out of the road, but it's a good riding surface, and you should get many, many years out of it. But it's going to require maintenance. Periodic sealing of those cracks again over the years. They're not going to stay sealed forever. But the surface.
But you can seal them.
Yeah, you can go back
and seal them.
Okay. And that's a maintenance issue, and the city does, and they have contracts they maintain.
Right.
Maintain facilities. What we're proposing to do, because of some of the contractual things that we had, we didn't have enough money. We have money left in the job, but we didn't have enough money to finish Bluebonnet from Gulfway back to Memorial. We're obligated, we cannot exceed the contract bid amount by 25%. And to do that correctly, we would go beyond that. So we shut that project off, and we're basically calling it Phase 1. We recommended that we do that. It's not ours to do, it's council's to do that. And rebid the second part. Now, in order to have the funds to do this and to do Woodworth correctly, we made the recommendation to the city manager and staff, Dr. Johnson, that we reprogram the funds from West 7th and 8th Street to be used on Bluebonnet and Woodward.
Well, Joe,
I know that's not going to be popular.
No, it's not going to be popular because those people been. That's down in my district. Those people have been waiting for that to be fixed a long time. Let me ask you this question. So, what you all going to do from Gulfway to Memorial to Bluebonnet? You want to do it the correct way that you didn't do.
The plan is we're going to go back to take everything up and come back with a concrete post.
And that's what should have been done. On the other side, correct?
That would have probably been preferable to do that, but that's not what we were instructed to do when we were given these projects by city staff. It was meant to be just an overlay project.
Okay, so that you all was instructed by the city staff.
Well, the money's not that much difference to go back and repair the north half, the Phase 2 part, and we made the recommendation. That's what I think I would do. what we'll do is we'll bid it two different ways.
Right.
We'll do it with the all concrete, and come back and have an alternate with asphalt, with base and asphalt,
Okay.
flex base and asphalt.
All right, thank you.
Councilmember Richard?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. My statement is directed to the city manager. Do we have a strategic plan? I've seen a lot of your projects here. It's mostly the major streets in the city, but what are we going to do in residents? Do y'all have a plan? Do you have a plan, a strategic plan to attack the streets? I mean, Bluebonnet is a major issue, I know that, and you're saying we don't have funding. Is there funding somewhere that we can find to get Bluebonnet repaired? Because citizens are tired.
Madam Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
Yes and no is the answer to the question. And I know that's typically a good government answer, and I didn't mean to be disrespectful by saying that. We met in work session probably in the last couple of months and talked about this. And I knew we were going to have this work session. The mayor requested it, and we went out and did a complete inventory of every street in the city. And I think that was the first step. Because we needed to know from 0 to 10, 0 being doesn't need any work, to 10, it absolutely desperately needs work, regardless of what district it is in the city. And we went out there and gave an engineering recommendation on it, and we gave that list to council. It was probably half an inch thick. If you don't have one, I'll get you one. We need to now start putting some numbers on to those projects and figure out what that is. And then what we'll do with that is it'll go into our capital improvement project. And what we'll do is we've made our recommendation based on sound engineering principles as to which roads need to be done first, and we're going to bring that back to council so council can prioritize that. Now, the difficulty that we have here is the EDC has graciously volunteered, about $1.2 million, $1.5 million in road work and projects. But these projects, you saw Bluebonnet was $1.2 million just for the one leg. So the other leg is probably going to be about that much. So that would eat up 1 year's worth of what the voters in the EDC agreed to let us have for roads. Currently, in the public works budget, we budget typically only about $300,000 to $500,000 in road repair. We've got to find some more dollars to do that with. This goes beyond just the audits, but of course I've told councilors about the fact that our audits are behind and that we don't exactly know what our fund balances are because they're behind, but we're close to getting our 2015 audit behind. That will tell us some good information about what we will have for if there's any extras in there that we can use and put to roads. And I've had every council member tell me roads are priority, just like many of you have mentioned today. The other thing that I think we probably are going to need to do is if we can find some of those dollars, we probably need to talk about at some point about selling some bonds. Right now, interest rates are they're not very expensive, and we can get some of these projects done faster. But the first step here is to get that project list to you guys so we know what we have, whether that's 50 million, it's 100 million, whatever that is. We can then say, okay, what's priority? We've got sound engineering principles, and then we've got the council that makes the policy decision as which ones we do first. So those steps will come in the next couple of months, and if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Yeah, City Manager. I spoke about my district, but it's not about my district. It's about in every district. I'm not for taking money from a district and putting it somewhere else because of our mistakes. Okay? Now, we're doing West 7th from 82 where the refineries are. We're doing that, correct? That construction.
We're doing it
Okay.
with the asphalt zipper
Okay.
and with city staff. Yes, sir.
We're taking care of that, which citizens are not using. Okay? That's basically industrial using it. Now, you're going to go past where the citizens live to take money from where the citizens live and put it somewhere else where we made mistakes. Okay? We got to find money for this mistake we made, but not taking it from the citizens that this money goes to. Okay? And that's my concern. So it's not about district is just, yeah, I said it's my district, but if any district was in this situation, I would be for the citizens in that particular district. So we made the mistakes. We need to find a way to find money to do Bluebonnet, but I'm not for taking any money from any district that those citizens have been waiting for that particular street to be fixed and putting it somewhere else because we choose to. Thank you.
Councilmember Lewis.
Yes, in support of what Councilman Mayor Pro Tem just stated, moving money from one location to put a fire out over there, you don't want to do that. We've been through that before. 9th Avenue from 36th Street up until to the railroad track past the graveyard. We had the money from the state in place, and we was doing this project, bought everybody out. We moved the money north of 73 to complete 9th Avenue all the way to 365. That was ready to go, okay? And South 9th Avenue was not ready to go. We moved that money. You know how long that's been? It's been over 20-some years, and we still haven't gotten the money. We still haven't finished widening 9th Avenue. And if you complete widening 9th Avenue, it's gonna boost your retail. Now you got a school line on it. The traffic, that's your new hub. Memorial used to be your hub, but as soon as we finish widening 9th Avenue, that's gonna be your new hub. And retail can develop down in there and get some sales tax. We'll channel that right back to EDC.
Councilmember Richard.
Again, I agree with the two council members that we need to get out of robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know, we really need to think about focusing on maybe abandoning some of the other project that's unnecessary right now, and focus on cleaning up the city with streets and garbage cleanup, trash, grass cutting. We really need to continue to beautify the city. If we spend a bunch of money, let's just say, and I'm gonna use this term, the pavilion, but the people coming from out of town or to visit it or to come and sponsor the project, and they driving down bumpy roads, tires all over the city, it doesn't look good. So those are some of the things that we may need to talk about, city managers, spending some time and really looking at some other projects that we can allocate monies to and not do those projects right now and put money into beautifying the city.
Councilmember Lewis.
Yeah, I'm glad you remind me. One of the things that I've been advocating over the years is we need to stop repairing. We need to stop repairing avenues that's no homes on them. We're repairing avenues that's not a house facing it. We need to close the darn thing, give it back to the property owners, and that's money that we can move to do other things with. And we got, the city manager, I appreciate you getting an update on it. We got a lot of avenues, no addresses, but we're maintaining the street. Makes absolutely no sense. That make about as much sense to me trying to empty Lake Sabine with a bucket.
Ma'am, don't do that again. You've done that several times. The next time, just excuse yourself, okay? And you can go and do a lot of laughing outside. I'm serious about that. You understand? Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Okay, I'm glad we got the questions out. I know decisions need to be made. It's not our decision to make. We will do as directed by council and city staff. And that was merely one option that we proposed.
Thank you.
And there's several other ways to do this, I'm sure.
But can you all just be quiet for a minute?
We'll work through this ever how the city wants us to do it, and we're there to do that. Adam, let's go
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I need for one of you to remain in your seat. And still, just remain in one of you. You can go if you want to go, but you. Well, he can tell you out later, but I need a quorum. Okay, go ahead.
All right, Adam. Next slide is one other topic we were asked to talk on were the Cheniere projects and some of the funding the city has received from Cheniere for the infrastructure for the water. And total of these projects is over $79 million that Cheniere is investing in the city right now. And Adam, we'll go to the first one, please. This is the new surface water treatment plant. It's in two phases. Phase one is about to wrap up. That's a picture of the new 3.7 million gallon ground storage tank. That more than double the city storage capacity at plant. Phase 2, we have some of the construction out there, some of the structures going on right now. Right now, that project's scheduled to go into next year before it'll actually be completed. Phase 1 will be wrapping up here within the next couple of months.
Okay.
Next project was the distribution line project, and they ran essentially, it was broken into 3 phases from the old 19th Street water plant all the way to Sabine Pass. This is the first phase that was went from there to the base of the MLK Bridge, and we have also a new ground storage tank, not ground storage, elevated storage. It's a 2.5 million gallon water tower going in. That's huge. There's only like about 10 of those in the state of Texas, and so it's a big storage facility and pump station involved with that. And actually, I think they're pouring the foundation for that today. So that's progressing. And next project was, we talked about already. Cheniere had contributed some money to the ground storage tank project to help on that. And which one are we at now? Direct pipe project, which went under the Sabine-Neches Canal, and that basically tied the mainland to Pleasure Island with that water line. This is the distribution line down Highway 87 that we talked about previously that they contributed some money for. And then we had the Highway 82 water line running down Pleasure Island. It's a new 24-inch distribution line all the way to Walter Humphrey State Park. We had the Highway 87 water line that completed the link from the ground storage tanks all the way to the standpipe in Sabine Pass. We have a new metering station that's been constructed at Walter Humphrey State Park, and that's just strictly to meter the water that Cheniere buys. So they constructed that. We also constructed one at the standpipe in Sabine Pass as well. To meter the water. That's kind of a general overview of the projects. Some of the projects we're working on some others as well for the city right now, but I hope that
Councilmember Lewis has another question. Councilmember Lewis has a question.
Oh, no, not really a question. Appreciate the presentation. I was trying to clear the air about what Councilman Richard and I was talking about. He was concerned about a bond issue to get these things done. And I was explaining to him that that's what the manager is talking about. When we get these audits completed, then we'll know where we're at on our debt service and how much of a bond issue that we can service. That's what I was trying to, but I got into a core.
Yes, you did.
Got into a core.
Yes. Thank you.
But
Thank you,
that's
Joe.
what we were talking about, okay?
We have some
Thank you, Joe.
handouts of the presentation that we'll distribute to you guys
Appreciate it.
that you can take with you and look at. If you have any questions, please pick up the phone and give me a call. Myself, Ron, or anybody, or Keyston at the office will be happy to try to answer any questions.
No, this is a presentation.
Good morning, everyone. I just basically wanted to talk about the demolition portion of the grant. We opened bids on 4 buildings in the 400 block of Proctor Street on tomorrow. And also the water treatment plant project, the bid opens on the 29th of June. So this is the kickoff for the round 2.2 disaster recovery commercial demolition portion of the Ike grant. And we just wanted to notify everyone that water treatment plant project is going to be a long process. It's a huge project, so it's going to take a while to get that done, and we just want the public to know that is underway. Once we open bids on the 29th, of course, we have to send the information to GLO, and then we have to have those contracts approved. And after that time, we will have a schedule. And when we have a schedule, we will certainly come back and let all of you know what's going on. So that's my little portion. And we just want to keep you notified about the demolition portion of the grant. Thank you.
And Darlene, again, I want to thank you and your staff for all of the work that you all have done in utilizing the funding from the round 2.2. Just all of the demolition that you've done within the city, it's unbelievable. I don't think the residents realize how many structures have actually come down, how many hundreds have come down. So thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Thank you for that. And I want to say that the Ike grant has definitely been a great benefit to the city of Port Arthur. In the round one TDRA project, which he mentioned at the beginning, we actually demolished 99 commercial buildings then. So it has been a great blessing for the city of Port Arthur.
Yeah, and Joe, I thank you all too for the work that you all did utilizing those funds. Sometimes it's difficult to get your hands on that money, but we were blessed here in the city of Port Arthur. And unfortunately, we're getting money because we probably qualified because of all the disasters in the city, but we got it nevertheless, and you all have used it wisely. Councilmember Lewis?
Yes, I may have missed it, but the total amount, the old 19th Street, that's going to be one of them. What's the other three?
It's 4 buildings in the 400 block of Proctor Street.
It's the old Walgreens. No,
The old Walgreens is, it's 436, 435, 443, and then across the street, 444, and then there's Wellborn's in the middle that stays, and then the building next to that. So
Good.
the one on either side of Wellborn's,
right.
444, 420, 428, 436 is one big building, and then across the street, 435 and 443.
That's going to have a tremendous impact on that
Yes, sir.
environment.
And we have some other ones in the project, but we're waiting to get the bid on the water treatment plant because that's a beast. We don't know how much that's going to cost. And once GLO gets those numbers, they will decide whether we can move forward with the remaining structures that are in the grant that we submitted to them.
What about environmental issues with that water treatment plant?
All of that is going to be handled in the grant. All that's taken care of.
Okay.
It will be a clean, green space when we finish.
Good.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Thank you, Mayor. This is really directed to the city manager regarding the 400 block of Proctor. Last month, we cleaned up in that area, and we found some drug paraphernalia, and someone is living in the American Loan Building. So I already sent over this information, but I'm concerned about fires being started because there's a hot plate in there. So I know that they're boarded, but at least until these properties are bid out and there's somebody else's responsibility, I'm just asking that we maintain these buildings being boarded.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
Darlene, if you'd check into that, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir, I will.
Okay, well, we thank both of you all. Okay, we're going to go to employee recognition, and unfortunately, Councilmember Frank is not here. There was supposed to have been an employee recognition for Judith Smith by Councilmember Frank, and perhaps at the next meeting she'll be here. But I can say this, Judith, we love you. You've done a wonderful job at that health department, so thank you so much. And at the next meeting, I'm sure that Councilmember Frank will be here to do that. Judith? That is Judith back there. Okay, just wanted to be sure. Thank you, sweetheart, for all that you do. For all of the citizens of Port Arthur, I don't think people know or realize how much work goes on at that health department. So thank you so much. Sarah Johnson Glover. Sarah, you want to come up here, sweetheart? Well, I want to go shake a hand. Do it.
Mayor and Council, I guess it's probably been a month or so ago, Miss Johnson was hounding Jimmy and I to meet with us. Of course, we all are busy running around, going to meetings and all that kind of stuff. Well, Jimmy was in my office, and Miss Tessa in Jimmy's office said that Miss Johnson was in his and really wanted to speak to us. So we left our meeting to go down to Jimmy's office and sit down and talk with Miss Johnson. And Dr. Johnson can tell you a little bit about what that meeting was like, but I am proud that Sarah Johnson is an employee in the city of Port Arthur.
Mayor, Council, Ms. Sarah Johnson Glover, Equipment Operator 2 in the Solid Waste Division is being recognized for providing an innovative, cost-saving measure for the city of Port Arthur. During the month of May, Ms. Johnson Glover presented a professional organized packet of suggested ideas, which included surveys, outlines, detailed information, and many pictures, wherein she surveyed various service delivery methods for garbage and trash collection. Ms. Sarah Johnson Glover suggested ideas included, number one, once a month during the spring and the summer, the city could have a 2 or 3 trash truck to pick up only trees at designated citizen drop-off sites. Neighboring cities already are implementing this similar program. Number 2, she suggested service delivery methods that could cut cost on repeat junk piles and the pickups and clean out of various dilapidated homes. Number 3, she created a new contract for trash and service pickups that estimated a bi-weekly charge to cover the cost of the service. Number 4, she modified a current city contract for crews to pick up junk piles every 2 weeks. Number 5, she came up with the idea of how to increase the income for the city of Port Arthur, including, and I left this one in my office, including selling garbage bags for leaves, grass, clothes, and etc., would create an annual profit of more than $35,000. Ms. Sarah Johnson Glover, time, effort, and expense concerning the betterment of the city of Port Arthur is worthy of recognition.
Okay, Councilman Lewis?
Yes, Ms. Johnson, I appreciate all your efforts and everything. I appreciate the staff listening to you and considering what you has proposed. Mrs. Johnson was on her day off, and she was standing up there, and I was shooting the breeze with some guys at the poll place out there. They said, man, that lady that been waiting for you to talk to you. I turned around, I said, how long she been there? She's been standing up about 45 minutes an hour. I said, ma'am, can I help you? She said, yeah, I got some ideas I'd like to present you. I said, first of all, are you on your day off? She said, yes, I'm on vacation. I said, good, okay. I listened to her ideas, and immediately, I said, I'm going to get with the manager and staff, let them hear your presentation. And because they're great ideas. And since then, the manager, staff, HR, they was impressed with what she presented. And they had some idea, they implemented the idea of honoring you. But you know, my thing is this, the manager and I have been kicking around some things. I said, city manager, look, you know what we need to do? We need to consider giving city employees, and give with the city attorney, I think we can legally do it, give the city employees that come up with cost-saving ideas, whether it be an individual person or a group of people, give them at least $1,000. City manager, well, I was thinking about $100. I said, $100 ain't going to do nothing. Give them something that they can do something with. $1,000, by the time they're going to take taxes and Social Security out anyway, so they'll have about $800. And if it's a group of people working together, the better the Port Arthur and the better way we do things, split it among the group. So the manager said, well, I got to work, we're going to work on something. We'll get a program together. So he's still working on it. Okay. Appreciate you.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Johnson, I'd like to commend you also on the work you've done, and I think this is a good thing that happened for the city manager and Dr. Johnson to be able to sit down and have your ears open to people who are out there in the fields doing the work. And I think we have a lot of employees that has a lot of experience to share information like this with staff, and it's a good thing that you all were able to sit down and listen to Ms. Johnson, and I hope that we have other employers to share the information, share their